สวัสดีตอนเช้า Not a bad option. Although, you know, tomorrow's a different day. But whatever. ขอบคุณมากครับ How y'all doing? Hi there, friends and neighbors. What's happening? I forget the days sometimes, but today is a Tuesday. Robert, listen, Robert, I just wanted to tell you, I went to the place where I bought the DJI Action Osmo Action 5 or whatever it is, and I forgot the battery, which is bad enough, but they had what are those things called, the little ones with the hand thing? Hang on a sec. The Osmo Pocket 3. They had one of those there, and they're exactly the same. The setup is pretty much the same. You use the Mimo. And so at first he couldn't connect up, and I couldn't connect up, and I'm like, what's going on? And then he was able to connect it. He messed with a setting, and we couldn't get mine to work. We used the exact same settings as he did, and mine would not work. So I may bring it in again with the battery, so we're connected to my camera, but for right now, it doesn't look like it's working. And that sucks, because I'd like to be able to use that camera for working. Anyway, let me see where I am. I'm a little out of sorts today. Okay, today I want to talk to you. No, it's not defective. It's definitely not defective. It's something in the settings. I want to talk to you about something that people don't think through very much. And you know, when all the firmware is updated, everything's good to go. You know, but moving here, if you're under 40, is not the brightest move. Now, if you want to come here for a year or 2 years, fine. Then you go back home, you start your life, you do whatever you're going to do. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about guys who, you know, they're 25 and they've got a business that they've been working on since they were 16, and now, you know, they've got $10,000 a month coming in and they're doing great. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys who, they have a little bit of money, and I'm talking about a little bit just like I did, and they decide to move over here, and they're going to make it. Whether they're going to make it on YouTube or some other way, they're going to make it. And Thailand is cheap, it's fun, it's cheaper, it's fun, and the lifestyle is very, very nice, it's great. But that doesn't mean that it's the right move for everyone to come here. Because there are some downsides to coming here too early. And if you don't have a solid plan, you might find yourself stuck. And I'm going to talk about that today. And quite frankly, I was very, very lucky. I had a lot of friends. I had my family. So when I got into a bind, my friends helped me out. My family helped me out. And I was very, very lucky. I was lucky to be able to move here. And now I've been here for, you know, it's coming up, well, it'll be 31 years in November. And so I've been here for a while, and I've managed to stay here. And some of that I attribute to having a wife, staying grounded, and all those kind of things. But some of the other things are that I always managed to stay afloat. And then when I wasn't staying afloat and when I was doing well, I didn't go crazy. I did something with the money that I had. I saved it. I used it on a trip to go somewhere where I thought I would make money back from it. And, you know, I did a lot of things wrong, but I did a few things right, and those few things really helped me to live here. And I did have a plan. And I don't talk about this very much because, quite frankly, it's nobody's business. It's your own business. It's your own business, the plan you make and what your goals are. I don't really feel the need that I have to explain everything to everyone. I don't, feel like I need to tell people, hey, I'm going to move over here and I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. This is what I've kind of decided. I don't feel I need to tell people that. And I don't feel they need to know. Now, the only reason I'm really talking about it is because I was a friend of mine, he's a long-time expat. I think he's been here longer than me. And I used to work for him. Oh, okay. Yeah, the bars, that's one thing. But you got to have some discipline. And listen, I didn't have discipline in the very beginning. I acquired it, I learned it, and I did very well simply because if I went into a bar, I would drink water. I would drink a Red Bull. I would drink a soda, but I wouldn't drink booze, and I wouldn't get shit-faced. Now, I didn't do that in the beginning. So, there's that. But let's get into it here. But before we do, of course, click like if you like this live stream. Subscribe if you have not done so already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. And if you want to send me a Dear Scott letter or you want a consultation, email me at anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to help you out. So let's get into it. If you are under 40, the chances you are still in the stage of your life where you should be building your career and increasing your income. That's where you are. You need to be building your career, building your skills, building up your income, building your savings. You should be headed towards the place where you are in a better position financially. It took me a long time to realize that, and it took me until I got to Thailand. I didn't know what I was going to do. And you might say, oh, well, why could you do it and I can't do it now? Because things are different. Times are different. Times have changed. Things are much different, and you don't think they are. But I'm telling you, they are. And if you talk to any long-term expats, I'm talking about guys who've been here 30, 40, 50 years, they will tell you the Thailand of old was much different than it is now. Yes, you can get a visa now. You can do all the same things, but there are different things, different requirements, and it's not quite as easy as it used to be. When I came over here, man, it was a piece of cake. Really. You want to stay here? Piece of cake. Now you want to stay here? It's not a piece of cake. Yeah, okay. Some things are easy, and if you have some money, it's easier. But when I came over here, I had 10 grand, and I had money coming in every month. So your career and and the income potential is kind of limited when you come over here, because first of all, most places are not paying top dollar to foreigners. Some places are, but most places are not. You're not going to come over here and make $300,000 unless you were making $300,000 somewhere else. But let's say that you're a chef. Well, yeah, okay, you're going to come over here, you're going to be able to live fairly decently. You're going to have a job. Okay, great. If you're going to get a job when you come here, that's fantastic, but you really need to have the job before you get here. You need to find the job before you are in the country. And then if you are in the country and you do find a job, which that doesn't always happen, but let's say you find one, then you still need to leave the country and then come back. Hi, Bruce. How you doing? And believe me, finding a job here, if you are unskilled, is not an easy task. You're not going to be able to do it. Most people will not do it. They will not make it. Yeah, you need to line up the job before you come here. That is the best way. Okay? And yeah, this is the thing. I can't even come to YouTube and look for a documentary without running into a bunch of YouTube videos. And what I find now is there's a lot of people who are just going, I give up. I'm taking off. I don't want to live in the United States anymore. I don't want to live in Australia anymore. I don't want to live wherever. They just take off and they go, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go over there and I'll make it. And maybe they had a house or something and they walked away. They had $80K in the bank and they're like, oh yeah, I got plenty of money. Maybe they're making $1,000 a month from some little business online or something like that. I mean, it's not, if you're under 40 and you're doing these things, you're selling yourself short. And I'll be honest, I sold myself short. I could have made a lot of money. I had a business. I was making $10,000, $12,000 a month, and that was in the first 2 years. So imagine in 5 years, 10 years, I might have been making $20,000, $25,000 a month. I could have been making more money than I ever dreamed of. But I didn't want to do that. I was like, God, man, this is very stressful, and I just want, I got to get that. I need a break. I want to go to Thailand. I want to see what it's like. And I started coming here, and then I said, okay, well, I'm ready. I want to move. How am I going to do it? I had no idea how to do it. I can tell you that to make $1,000 a month on YouTube is not easy. To make $2,000, like I said before, I've said this many times, okay? It's a triangle, which is a prominent word here in Thailand. The triangle. At the bottom of the triangle is where everybody, well, I would say a large portion of people, where they rest. And they're making $100, $200 a month, if they're lucky. Then you get to the people who have, people like me, who have a small but somewhat loyal channel, and you have people who have a bit more subscribers. And when you start getting a lot of subscribers, it's hard to be personable with everybody. But okay, you have the people in the middle, and they are making anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a month. But to get to the next level, I don't care if it's YouTube or it's anything else. I would say in the majority of jobs, not just YouTube, but to get to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month, which is not a whole lot of money. It's not a huge amount of money. It takes considerably more effort. And if you are, let's say you're 24, 25, and you just happen to start out and you're making 75 grand a year. And after 5 years, you go, I've had enough. I got to get out of here. Well, guess what? You're not going to earn that $75,000. More than likely, you are not going to earn that $75,000 in Thailand. It's not going to happen. And, listen, I got to say this. My friend that I was talking about, he sent me a video, and it was talking about the young YouTubers and how what most of them do is they promise all kinds of great things for people that, they're going to earn $1,000 a month. Oh, you can live here for dirt cheap. Okay, you can, but there's a lot of sacrifices you got to make. And I've been at both ends of the spectrum. I've made a lot of money, what most people consider to be a fair bit of money, and I've also made very little money. And I can tell you that living with very little money is not the way that I was happiest. You don't have to make a lot of money to be happy, but you need to have your needs taken care of. And if you don't, and you're scrimping and saving to make, oh, can I go out for that steak dinner tonight? Oh, I'm going to take the girl out. God, I've only got 1,000 baht. Well, okay, you only have 1,000 baht. Well, you can only take her where you can take her. But guess what? You decide you want to take her somewhere special. Oh, this place is going to cost me 2,000 baht. We'll just say that you got 500 baht, and you want to take her out. That's all you got, 500 baht. Now, what if she decides to order something and she goes, oh, can I get an appetizer too? And everything there costs about 200 baht. You're like, well, yeah, okay. I'm not really hungry. I'll just have a soda. Is that what you want to do? I don't think so. I'm not saying that this is how it is for everybody. But I'm saying that there are some things that happen, and we're going to get into this, where when you're under a certain age, and I just picked 40, you need to be increasing your income. You need to be building your career. And Thailand is not the best place for that. Everybody and their mother wants to live here. Seriously. Think about it. I see Chinese, I see blacks, I see whites, I see middle-aged, I see young, but I see more and more young now. And I mean young, I'm talking about between 20 and 30. And they think this is the best place. Oh yeah, I can live there for next to nothing. It's so fantastic. And you know what? You can. But guess what? You're going to have to do without a lot. Now, if you're an older guy and you want to live out in the countryside and you've got a wife and you guys have a house together, maybe the house was built when you met her, and you don't pay a penny for rent, and your electric bill is 500 baht a month, and you guys eat Thai food all the time, that's all you eat. Well, yeah, you're going to get by on a relatively low amount. Now, if you have a truck payment, how'd you get the truck? You have insurance? You have medical insurance? Do you have a truck insurance or auto insurance? Do you have that? So, that's going to drive everything up. But okay, maybe not 1,000 a month. But this is a life that most older people would want to live, not younger people. So financial growth is tough. And problems do not go away when you come here. Problems get multiplied sometimes. You're not just going to come here and everything's going to be grand. Now, when I came here, I had a business, and I didn't tell any of my customers I'm selling the business. I didn't tell them. I was like, I don't have to tell them. Now, maybe that was a mistake. In hindsight, I think maybe that was a mistake because I should have probably tried to have a relationship with them. But over the course of, say, a month, I just completely pulled back from the business, turned it over to the other guy. And I left him to say, listen, Scott has sold me the business, and I've got all your plates, I've got all your paperwork, I know all your jobs, and I'm going to take over and do everything. So my mistake maybe was not informing everybody, as I did when I asked them would they like to come over to me. Hey, guess what? I really have had enough. I'm going to sell the business. I didn't give them notice. I should have at least sent out some kind of a memo, some kind of paper for them. But I didn't. Okay. Now, when I came over here, I knew I had a limited set of funds. I knew that those funds were not going to last forever, which is why I ended up going back working on a fishing boat, busting my ass to make money. But at that time, I would say when I landed and I went, I got this money in my bank account. I know the next payment's coming on the 15th. I know I got plenty of money to live here. I'm fine. And I was fine until the money ran out. But I was here, I was set, right? That was, it was a no-brainer for me. And what I felt like was, I am beholden to no one. And that feeling is probably, I would say that's probably one of the best times in my life. Just because for a couple of months, I didn't have to answer to anybody. Now, do I answer to anybody now? Yes. I answer to my kids. I answer to my wife. I answer to my parents. Back then, I just told my mother, I'm moving. Huh? What? Yeah, I'm going to Thailand. And she was like flabbergasted. She didn't know what to say. You know. What is this here? Well, the clickbait, and it still goes on now. And you know, I brought up a couple of people, and I don't hate on them. I'm not hating on them at all. And there's all kinds of people. I mean, there are very young people who are like, you know, 20 years old, and there are older people who are like 35, 40. And you know, they may have been a lot better off than I was when I came over here. But this is a different situation now. This is 2025. This is not 1995. And things were much different back then. You could come to Thailand, you didn't even need a visa, and you could stay for as long as you wanted. There was none of this, oh, well, you know, you can't do a border run, or you can only do 2 or 3 border runs, and then they're going to stop you. There was none of that. They wanted people. Well, I'll give you a little insight to the earnings from YouTubers. When I first started, listen, I mean, I did okay. I have one video that has almost 900,000 views. Now, for me, that was pretty good. And I had many, many videos that had over 100,000, over 200,000. Now, how much did I earn? Well, if you look at it in the first year or two, maybe I made $2,000. That's in like 2 years. Now, if you look at it over 10 years, maybe I made $3,000. So over 10 years, that's only $300 a year, right? Then the income went down, and it went down because of the YouTube apocalypse, the ad apocalypse. And all of a sudden I'm going, wow, I'm not making nearly what I was making before. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? Then I notice, oh, I'm not really doing anything wrong. It's all the same. Well, you constantly have to be changing. And then I noticed just recently, the views, the people, the subscribers, and the money starting to go up again. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with me, or if it has to do with you know, just YouTube in general. Well, yeah, I don't like people that are doing that. I don't think that's right. And you know, this is the one thing. I've done a few things with my channel that maybe I shouldn't have done. I've made mistakes. Okay, I understand that. And you know, really all I do is sit in front of the camera and talk. Whether I'm going out somewhere, whether I'm in Klong Tui, whether I'm sitting here in a coffee shop, whether I'm, you know, on some mountain, it doesn't matter. I'm just talking to you guys. But the difference, the only difference that I see is I do my best to tell the truth. And there's a lot of people out there who don't tell the truth. And maybe that's because they figure they're going to get more views. People are going to like them because they know, wow, this guy's getting by. He only has $800 a month and he's living like a king. He's living so great. You ain't living like a king, I can tell you that. I'll never forget, listen, Mark Wiens, a long time ago, wrote a piece, and it said, I lived in Thailand for like a VIP for $715 or something like that. And me and another guy called him out on it. And I said, dude, you ain't living like a VIP for that much money. No, you're living with 3 other people in a room. You're sharing the expenses. You're all eating together in communal food. You know, I mean, that's not like a VIP. And I told him, I said, you want to live like a VIP and you're single, well, then go to a Coyote bar. Spend 100,000 baht on the membership and some bottles. Go to a place where you're getting nothing but, you go to the Four Seasons. Go to the Oriental Hotel. Well, now that is like VIP stuff. Now, that's nothing really personally against him. That's just showing an example of somebody doing that. But people do that all the time now. And the thing is I am what I am. I'm always somebody who, tries to tell it like it is, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. Some of these people just, what can you do for $10 a day? Listen, you know what you can do for $10 a day? Well, I can do a lot of things. I can buy some candy that's 3 baht, and I can spend all the money I have on candy. Okay, but it ain't gonna get you all that much. Get you across town. It get you some food, and then what? You got damn near nothing. So really, what did it do for you? Is it an investment in your future, the $10? No, but if you save that $10, it's an investment. So let's talk about money. Thailand is cheap, but that does not mean it's great for building long-term wealth, and here is why. You cannot buy land, which limits investment opportunities. And I don't care what you say, you're not buying the land outright. It's not in your name. It might be in your company's name. It might be a lease for 30 years. It's not yours. And it never will be. They're never going to let you own the land. I just don't see that happening. I don't know why, but most of you will not be contributing to Social Security or retirement plans here in Thailand. I know one guy who gets I think it's 3,000 baht a month. He gets it as a lump sum when he comes back to Thailand. He has to come to Thailand, he has to go to the office, and he has to say, I want my money. Every single year. Now, if he doesn't come and he's not in communication with them, he doesn't get the money. And they cut him off. He's done. Now, he hasn't done that because he lives in Cambodia. He wants his money, right? To fly over here, to stay for a day, maybe it costs him, 10,000 baht. Right? And he gets like 36,000 or 40,000. I don't know. But he gets around that. So, it's a profit, right? It's win-win. He's the only guy I know. Now, I'm sure there are other people, but I'm just saying. And the systems here, the credit systems, the investment options here, they're not quite as good here for foreigners. Now, I invested quite some time ago in some stock. I told my wife, I said, listen, let's put this money in the stock. We put like 15,000 baht into this one stock. And like a month later, it had gone up and I had made like 7,000 baht or something, or 5,000 baht, something like that. I go, I'm selling it. I want to sell it. And she goes, why? I go, because I can't see myself making money long term here. I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel it. So I'm going to go and I want to sell it. I went and sold it and I made my money. And I was like, okay, fine. But I'd much rather invest in the United States than invest here. And a lot of younger expats end up spending everything they earn because they think it's easy and cheap here. Oh yeah, it's only, 25,000 baht a month here, and I've got 150,000 in the bank. And the next thing you know, 3 months later, they're going, I'm broke. Or they wake up at 50 and they have no assets and they have no solid financial future. And that's something that you got to think about. What is your financial future? I've seen YouTubers get real and say living in Southeast Asia on little money is hell. So much to do, but no money to do it with. Well, isn't that the truth? I mean, listen, I'm not rich, but I sure ain't poor. And this is the thing. I'm still here. And I'm not here because of my wife. I'm not here because of my kids. I mean, you know, I am here because of my wife, because I love her. I want to be with her. We're together. But it has nothing to do with money. I don't get a fucking dime from her. We have our goals, and that's about it. That's about where it stops. You know. Yeah, you have to work for at least 10 years to collect Social Security from Thailand. And a lot of people don't work here for that long. They might work here for 2 years. They have a contract, they work, and then they go back to wherever they came from. So they have to think about that. But the truth of the matter is that you can very easily end up at 50. And let me tell you something, at 50, I didn't have jack shit. Only recently have I started to have a little bit. Well, maybe at 50 I did. I'm trying to think here. But then no, it was about 45 I did. And then we had to start paying for my kids' school. And that was not cheap. You know, that shit costs money. What are you going to do? You're not going to give your kids the best education that you can afford? Or are you just going to say, well, you know what? They can go to a shitty school and I'll have money. No, I didn't do that. You know, it's called, to me, it was like a sacrifice. No, I don't think 60 is too late. Why is that, Teddy? Also, you know, the whole dating and relationship scene here, there is a reality that some people do not really, they cannot grasp. Morning, I moved to Thailand when I was 29, 17 years ago. All right, well, that's good. I moved here when I was just 32. So tell me, Teddy, why is 60 too old or too late to move to Thailand? Because I think you're dead wrong. I know there's a lag, but like, you know, an answer should be forthcoming. Anyway, if you are under 40 and single, you know, the dating life here, at least at first, it might seem like, oh my God, it's so fantastic. Of course, everybody goes, oh, Thai women, they're so beautiful. Oh, some people still think that they're subservient, which they are not. But long-term relationships often come with expectations of financial stability. You're going to get involved with a Thai girl, man. She needs to know that she can count on you. And she might screw you, and then she goes, what did I do? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm with this guy. She might do that. But I don't think so. I think she's going to go, hey, I need to go with someone who's going to have a little bit more of a future. So what happens to those individuals who moved here at 40 without money at the age of 60? They go home. They're the ones who don't have money to fly home, and they have to be repatriated by their embassy. I'm just asking because I'm retired, 60. I've never been to Thailand. I'll be there December. My first time, I'm 58. I'm retired. So you were going to retire at 60. Well, if you're asking me a question, I can only assume English isn't your first language, but 60 is not too old. I moved here at 62. I made sure that I was financially secure. Long before moving, I have no financial concerns now. Had I moved here sooner, it would have been a struggle. And I will say, there were several times when I was here when it was a struggle. I mean, you know, once I had my kids, things started stabilizing a little because you have to be stable. If you got kids, you better be stable. My kids never, ever had to worry about where their meal was coming from or anything like that. Now, I remember being here and eating macaroni and cheese because that's all I had left, or peanut butter and jelly. I remember doing that, but that was right in the beginning. And I was wondering, well, what am I going to do? Well, I figured it out. I got lucky. Okay, maybe it wasn't all luck, but what I'm saying is that now is a different time. I don't care what these young people say. I really don't care, because I could probably run them into the ground if I wanted with the ways that they will fail. And I hope that they succeed. You know, I really do. I don't want anybody to do poorly, but I just think about it and I see it, and I think most of them, you know, let's say you got 30 or 40,000 subscribers and you're making $800, $1,000 a month. But it's you and your buddy, or you and your girlfriend, or something like that. Man, that's a tough life, man. And you probably don't have any medical insurance. You know, I mean, medical insurance for somebody young is relatively inexpensive. But if you get a little bit older, or you have an injury or some kind of pre-existing condition, well, that's a different story. Now you're going to pay more. And you have to think about that. And, you know, I know people don't think about their dental very often. What are you going to do if you have a dental problem and they go, oh, you need to take out 2 teeth? That's going to be 30,000 baht plus whatever else it is. So you're going, oh, I might have to pay 35,000 baht. You don't have the money. What are you going to do? Borrow it, use a credit card, and that just puts you further in debt. So that's not a positive step forward where you're progressing. That's a negative. Many Thai women prefer men who are established, definitely, and cultural differences can create misunderstandings. I will tell you that in the beginning, when I first started going out with Thai women, and I went out with a lot of them. I mean, I went out with my fair share for sure. Everyone that I could go out with, I went out with. I did things with, and you know. But the biggest problem that I had with them was misunderstandings about money and about how they wanted to live, or how they wanted me to think, or how I was supposed to think, or, you know, the way things were in Thailand. I couldn't communicate that well with them. That's why I tell all you guys to learn to speak the language before you get involved in a relationship. Even if they speak a little bit of English. I knew girls, they spoke English to me, and I spoke Thai to them, and we tried to better ourselves that way. But we didn't really know, sometimes we didn't know what the hell we were trying to say. It would be hard to, you know, it wasn't the same. We didn't have Google Translate. So I don't know, maybe now you could get by, but why not learn the language? If you're looking for fun, short-term experience, fine. But if you want a serious relationship, you need to understand what that entails. And for some people, what it entails is, I've got a mother and father, I've got 3 sisters, and I'm taking care of my mother and father. My sisters chip in, I chip in, and I make 30,000 a month, and I pay 10,000, 15,000 just for my parents. And I don't have much money. That's what some women will say. And what are you going to do? You can't fault them. This is their way. You know, you can't be mad at them. You know, when I met my wife, she didn't have a father, but she had a mother. And her mother was, you know, she didn't play around. But she had sisters too, so I mean, you know, sisters and brothers, and I had to deal with all of that. And it wasn't that bad, to be honest. It could have been far worse. They could have run me through the ringer, and you know what? They didn't. They just sat back and watched and they wanted to see how I treated her and how I was. And after we had kids, they knew, because I took good care of the kids and I cared about them and, I loved them. And then things started to change. But I never really had any, serious issues with them. And it was funny because I got a message yesterday. I got a message yesterday. Oh, dude, you're nothing. If you were back home, you wouldn't get any women. You would pull no women or something like that. And he was one of these guys, like some, MGTOW or some shit like that. And I think about it, but I don't dwell on it at all, because first of all, I'm married. I don't really give a shit. I got a woman, I got a wife, I got whatever I need, right? My needs are taken care of. I don't really care. But I think to myself, well, if I lived back in the United States, first of all, I wouldn't have all the baggage of saying, well, I've been married to 3 women. I'm, 65 years old. But I'm not the same guy I was when I was out playing around. And that's why what you usually do is when you're young, you meet a woman who you get along with and who you think the same way, you have the same kind of morals. And then you're in your 20s or early 30s and you hook up and then you get old together. Because if you're 60 years old, and you want some girl who's 20 years old, it's not going to be anything more than a financial agreement. I live in my wife's house, which is paid for. I give her $20,000 a month to cover. She uses the surplus. Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to do that. Now I don't do that. I don't have to do that. But I do pay the expenses at the house. The thing is, though, and I understand it. What is all this? So much noise today. What the hell was I going to say? Oh. If you're one of these guys who comes here and then you start talking to a girl and she goes, oh, you make $100,000 every month? You make $100,000 every month. Oh, I make $20,000, so you must take care of me. No, I must not do anything. I don't have to do jack shit, honey. I don't have to take care of you. That's the thing, I don't. And if I want to be with you, okay, well, then we have to come to some kind of agreement. Maybe, if you are paying for certain things, maybe you pay for things and maybe you get a little bit of money from me, but that's it. You're not going to get like, okay, well, I got $100,000, I'm giving it to you, and now you take care of all the money, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of Thais do that. I don't do that. And I don't recommend that to people, because I think it's much easier to take care of your own money, make sure your affairs are in line, and then then you and your partner can take care of her money, or she can take care of her money. You can take care of all your money together. It should be something that you do together, but that doesn't mean you got to give them access to all your money. It's easy to meet the nice girl in Thailand. How many times you been here? I have a $400 truck payment, $50 truck insurance, $170 health insurance. I seldom spend more than $600 a month on everyday expenses. So what is that, 1,000? Yeah. So that's not all that much. I mean, we spend, we, as in my wife and I, together, we spend more than what Jim is spending. I can tell you that, because first of all, our food bill is quite a bit, because I got 2 grown boys living with me. And my wife, she doesn't usually want to eat what we're eating. She wants to eat South Thai food. And sometimes she'll eat what we eat, but not very often. I mean, you know, we still pay for their medical insurance. We pay for everything. You know. Well, you're saying his truck payment is high. It's only $400. That's cheap. In the United States, it's, you know, sometimes it's $700, $800, $1,100. It's crazy. All right, but the point is that you need to be on equal footing when it comes to finances, to where your wife is okay with how you are with your money. And that's it. And, you know, once in a while, my wife will say something to me about what I'm doing or something like that. And, you know, I understand it. Sometimes I have to think about things more than once. I got to really think, you know, I have to think, wait, what am I going to do? What am I thinking here? I have to, you know, double check, triple check. All right, let me go on here. If you want to have a serious relationship, which a lot of guys don't, but then, and I'm not talking about the guys who are 25. Okay, they're just out there, you know, maybe they're screwing everything that moves and they're having a good time and they don't want to be with one girl and blah, 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 blah. Right? There's so much noise now, it's a little bit difficult to concentrate. Anyway, if you don't want to be with someone, that's fine. But then you got to think, okay, when I get older, who's going to be here? Are my mom and dad going to take care of me? Probably not, because they'll probably be gone. Do I have friends that will take care of me? Can I afford a care house or a care, assisted care? Because you might have to. Who's going to take care of you? And then the thing is you're going to be like, okay, so who do I have for friends now? Am I going to have any friends? Some of your friends die off. Already I've lost, you know, several friends. And they weren't that old. So then you think, how many friends am I going to have? Who's going to be there for me? Well, hopefully, if you got a wife and kids, they'll be there for you. Now, Thailand doesn't really have an easy long-term visa for younger expats. Retirees have a clear-cut option. But if you're under 40, you're dealing with work permits, education visa, constant visa runs where you may be told, sorry, this is the last time, and that means more paperwork, more rules, and more uncertainty. What that really means is, if you're under 40, you have to jump through a lot of hoops. And, you know, I still remember when I first came here, there was no Changwatana immigration. It was at, was it not Suwon Plu? Was it Suwon Plu? I can't remember, but it was over, I think it was by Lumpini Stadium, and then you turned left, and I turned left again, and you had to go in a ways, and it was a freaking madhouse. It was so crazy. They had chairs sitting there, but everybody's standing up. All through the place, people are standing up and you're wondering, am I in line? Am I not in line? Oh, where do I go? And they just had, you know, like a little piece of paper printed out and said number 2. This is the window, number 2 window. You got to go over there. It wasn't anything really nice. It was not nice. And then you have to go up to the second floor and have them sign a paper and it was a big pain in the ass. And that's why I hated going there. I still hate going to immigration. I hate going to the hospitals. I hate going to immigration. I hate going to dentists. I hate going to all these places. And I only go when I have to. Because I want my life to be as carefree as possible. But if being carefree means taking care of business, even if you don't like doing it, you know. So you got to think about that. That if you're younger, you're gonna go through the hoops. And I see all these guys now, and you know what I have noticed a lot is there are people. What they'll do is they'll come over here. Oh, I live here. No, you've just kind of moved a couple of bags over here and said you're living here. Even if you're here for a year, then guess what? I'll go, well, I wonder what's going on with this guy. You look on in their video feed, oh, now they're in Arizona. And then, you know, another year goes by and you just happen to look, oh, now they're in Mexico. They never stay still. So they didn't really move anywhere. They didn't plant roots. And, you know, you can say it's about integration and how much have you integrated, how into the system are you. But it's not really about that. To me, it's about how easy your life is. Yeah, well, yeah, I really want to go through. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't wear great shoes either. The sandals I got from Vietnam, the bottom flap, I need to get it glued, and I can't find a freaking shoemaker. I just remember vaguely where it is, but I don't remember exactly where it is. I can't find it. So either I have to use my glue, which is a pain in the ass because you need a bit of glue, and it's usually a special kind of glue, or I have my Oompas, which are not all that comfortable. They're a little bit too tight. And then I have a couple others, and I don't want to wear them because I have to tie shoelaces, and I don't want to do that. I don't know where you get this from, Lotto Retirement Strategist. If you're saying 5-to-1 ratio of US dollars is good for calculating the minimum, then what are you earning you're earning $10,000 in the United States, but you can live for the same amount for $2,000 here? I don't understand. And I don't think that's the case, but agree, Scott. Which bank they have in Thailand and America, and you can have the same account? None. Yeah, there is one bank in the United States, Bangkok Bank. They've had it there for years. But and that is not a physical bank. That's why. Yeah, this is another thing. We're not even talking about the fact, I mean, think about it. Now you have all these youngsters coming over here. They're not getting retirement visas. Okay, maybe they're getting an education visa. I don't think many of them are married to a Thai woman, because no Thai woman is going to want somebody that's that erratic. So what are they doing? If they don't have a bank account here, they're screwed. Now maybe they can go in and out of the country. Okay, they can listen. I mean, you can go to Cambodia for another 2 weeks, and then you come back, but you got to be making money. That's the thing. You have to be making money. Yeah, they're getting these visas. Okay, they're getting the visas, but really, I don't know that those visas are all that great. They can come for 6 months, and you can't even get a bank account with that. So maybe if they're already here, they've done that, but the new people coming in, they can't get bank accounts right now, which is something that people have to think about. I just talked to somebody, and he's got to think about that. Put the 800,000, Oh, I understand. Yeah, but the Thai monthly average is not $400. The Thai monthly average is almost 30,000 baht now. So does that mean you need to make 150,000? I don't think so. But I will say this. If you think that you're going to come over here, first of all, don't ever plan to come here for $1,000 a month. Don't ever do that. Unless you're some old timer who's been here, you've been through the ropes, you got a Thai wife, you live out in the country, you got fruit and vegetables like we do. We just got a package the other day with some fruit. My wife goes, "You're never going to get these fruit." She goes, "I've never seen these in Thailand. We have them, and they're very, very rare here." And I go, "Oh, really?" I go, nah. I looked at it and I go, "I think I've had this one." She goes, "No, you haven't had this." And I tried it and it was really, really good. We got a box of them. And I was like, all right, so, every once in a while we get a box of fruit or vegetables or whatever it is. And then when we go down there, which I've been wanting to go down there, but my wife is too busy. She doesn't want to go down there. And I'm like, I'm not going down there for a couple of weeks and you're not going to be there. I don't understand what the point is. That's the thing. We are, tied together like that. Fuck, I don't remember the name of it. She told me, and I hadn't heard the name of it. It was like a light green fruit, kind of shaped like an apple. I thought it was a custard apple, but that's not what it was. Anyway, yeah, you're right, Jim. I mean, you've always got to factor that in. And you shouldn't even think about that. You factor that in first. Then you factor that in, and then you take that away. You don't even think about that. That's just so you can stay. And you don't just say, oh, I'm going to put in 800,000 exactly. No, that's not what you do. You put in 900,000. You put in, whatever. You put in 1,999,000, I think. Yeah. And that way, if the exchange rate takes a dump, hopefully you'll still have plenty of money. You'll have the 800,000 in the bank. But if you go under that 800,000, they're going to go, nope, sorry, too bad. You got to have the buffer, for sure. And you got to keep, that's another thing. You need to keep an eye on the exchange rate, which today I didn't go over today, but let's see here. 33.55. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, it's right. Which is not very good, in all honesty. But supposedly it's going to be 36 by next month. We don't know. All right, let me continue. One of the biggest dangers, and I know about this because I have fallen into this in the past. I mean, I go through cycles where I get into this trap and then I go, hey, wait a minute. I gotta get on thing. I gotta keep active. Because if you don't stay active and you don't continue to move around, what happens is you get stagnant and then a lot of things happen. But it's very easy to get comfortable here. You got a lower cost of living. You have the nightlife. You have the laid back lifestyle, and it's all great, but it can lead to stagnation. Say hello to everybody. I've seen a lot of younger guys moving here thinking they'll build a business or create a new life, and then 5 years later, they're scraping by doing the same thing every single day. And if you don't have the discipline and the long-term goals, Thailand can hold you back instead of pushing you forward. And that's the truth. Wow, not very many people coming in today. All right, let me read some of these comments here. I calculate my expenses based on 28 baht to the dollar. I don't want to be caught short. Oh, that's good. Well, yeah, it's not just motorcycle accidents. I saw somebody saying, oh no, just get insurance so that if you have an accident, get accident insurance. No. Don't just get accident insurance, because as you start to age, things happen. You think I knew I was going to have a gallbladder issue? I had no idea. How the hell was I supposed to know? And I was in so much pain from that. My God, man. That was probably one of the worst experiences in my medical life. I don't know, Teddy. You're going to have to, you want a consultation, write me. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just not talking about these things. I can't keep, this is something that I do all the time, and I just answer questions from people and get into other subjects, and I get completely off the subject here, and I don't want to do that anymore. Okay? Another loophole would be an educational visa, but you need to actually be learning something and showing progress. Yeah. I mean, you can get an educational visa for language, for Muay Thai. There's a lot of things you can do. But are you going to do this for 10 years? No, you're not. So if you're 40 years old, can you get to 50? If you're 40, you can always get an elite visa. But guess what? That costs money. Everything costs money. I hate to say it. You're not going to come here and go, well, I've got $1,000 to my name, and I've got no money in the bank, and, I've got $500 coming in every month, and I'm going to live very well. No, that's not going to happen. I hate to tell you, you're not. So that might be true, Robert. It might be. The thing about the agents is the agents handle a lot of other things besides that. I mean, they handle many things. They can make your life a lot easier, and to be quite honest, I don't ever see them cracking down on the registered agents, the good agents. I'm not talking about some little rinky-dink guy who opens up a place and, I'm talking about a legitimate agent. I can't see them closing them down. I just don't see that happening. There's too much money. It's a whole, there are literally billions of baht being made, and I don't see that happening. Kind of is like a drug. Amazing. Okay, if you say so. It's a drug, though. So that's your weapon. It's a drug. Okay, so then what are you going to do about it? You have to remember that it's a drug, and that you cannot, if you're going to use it, you need to use it properly. All right, let me go on here. So the comfort trap is something, like I was saying, you don't want to be held back. You don't want these kind of things to happen. And, I can tell you there was times I was just like, I don't care. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I don't have to do, what do I have to do? And really, honestly, now, what do I have to do? I don't have to stream. I don't have to do YouTube videos. I don't have to do YouTube. I don't have to leave the house if I don't want. If I'm making enough money, what do I care? Why do I do it? Well, I do it to keep busy. That's the reason now. It's nice, a little bit of money. Okay, that's nice. But I don't expect to make, $20,000 a month or something like that. It's not going to happen. And if it did, I would be like, holy shit. Okay, I'd think about the best way to spend the money or save the money, and that would be it. It'd be over. And if I did that 2 months in a row, I'd be like, oh my God. But I don't see that happening. So, that's the thing. Can I prosper? Can I get ahead with what I have? Well, yes. I can. I got to watch my money. But other than that, what's the problem? And I think a lot of people would like to be in this position. I don't mean necessarily like me, but I've been in a pretty good position for a long time, ever since I worked in boxing. When I worked in boxing, that changed everything for me, financially. Even afterwards, I can't touch the money, but I got the money, okay, fine. that was a smart decision. I made some smart decisions when I worked in the boxing industry. And when I was working and I was a journalist, I started to see like, oh God, you know, sometimes I may not get paid for 6 months by the magazine. How am I supposed to get by? Well, then I better do something, right? So I started to learn. You know, I was a bit of a knucklehead. So, you know, that's another thing. Listen, if you're going to come over here and you're young, you better have your shit together. If you start making a bundle of money off of YouTube, put that money away. Live on the cheap. Put that money away and save it. And have a point where when you get to that point, you say, that's it. I'm calling it. I'm going back home. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. And if you want to go back home and start a business, then you better have some money for that too. So, you know, that tells you, now you're starting to get into a lot of money. I want to start this little business here. That's 50 grand, at least. Maybe 100 grand. Well, when do you get to the point where you say, I'm going back home? That might be, you know, you got 25 grand plus the money for your business. So you have to think about that. Now, something else, and I used to say this all the time, I'd say, if you want to make it here, have enough to get by for a year or a year and a half to where you don't have to worry about anything. You could pay your expenses for a year and a half. Now, after a year, you should have met quite a few people. You should have networked sufficiently to where you can find a job. I don't know if that's the truth now because I don't worry about it. And I've had people emailing me and telling me, oh, you can do this. How about I tell you about this and that? No, I don't want to. I don't want to work. Why? I don't want to go back to the United States and work. Fucking no way. I'm almost 63 years old. You think I want to go back and start working? What am I going to do that I really like? No, it's not going to happen. I do what I like here, and I'm fine, right? I live good. So, you know, that's something you got to think about. And I don't care what anybody says. I've done this for a long time. And I've had people offer me all kinds of deals when I was younger. And there's not only 3 thumbs up. Come on. Jesus Christ. There are 27 thumbs up. There are a lot of young Farang here who teach English, but many of them are kids taking a gap year being supplemented by their wealthy parents in the U.S. That's always how it's been, man. And all I'm going to say is, in fairness to the kids, I think the majority of people need to be career teachers in order to give the kids what they need. If you're just somebody on a gap year, I'm not saying you can't be a good teacher. Maybe you can be. But I'm saying there's a lot of people out there, they don't give 2 shits about the kids. And, you know, all they do is go to work and collect a paycheck. Thumbs up, don't update for a viewer very well. Well, that may be true, Robert. I don't know. I have a friend who has, I don't know, 325,000, something like that. And he makes enough to, you know, he makes a couple thousand a month, and he can get by on it. He's pretty shrewd. He knows how to do things on the cheap. You know, he's no dummy. And that's the thing. He's not the guy who's going out buying all kinds of beer and getting shit-faced every night and going chasing girls. He's married. They travel together. They find a, you know, they'll pay for a place for a month and get a really good price on wherever they're staying. And then once they start to feel like they don't really like the place anymore, they move on and go somewhere else. You know. That's the thing. Content costs. I hate to tell you. Listen, there was a time a long time ago when I would make content, like I made Burmese videos, and I was terrible with my camera because I did, I think I had an iPhone 3 or something, iPhone 4, and I wasn't very good. I didn't know anything about like a gimbal and stabilization. This is like 12 years ago, and I used to make money from those. I made a lot of money, but guess what? I do travel videos now. I lose money every single time. That's why I'm sitting here. I make more money sitting in front of the camera talking and bullshitting with people than I do going somewhere. What did I make? I mean, I'm not making anything today, but okay. What did I make the other day when I went to Klong Tui? I made like $6. I'll take it. Anything's good, whatever, right? That's how I think. Every little bit helps, but I ain't making great money. And you see, today, listen, smash the like button. If you like the stream, you like the subject, you like the videos, all this kind of stuff, okay, smash it. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the notification bell. Look down below in the description for all the ways you can help. There's a lot of ways you can help. Just listen, you can always hit the super chat. And a guy, listen, let me give a shout out to Daily G and also to Richard. Thank you very much. We had a nice conversation, Richard. That was great. But also, Daily G, thank you for signing up and becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. And it's $1.99, so come on. I'm gonna get rich off of that. I've got 10,000 people at $1.99. No, I don't think so. All right, let me see here. You won't be successful. You don't do that, so you got to spend. Yeah. Married guy is different, but the young ones who live it up are the ones who will pay for it later. Well, and they're not really living it up, to be honest. They're not going out and spending, 5,000 baht, 10,000 baht drinking every night. They might do that once in a couple of months. They might go out and, have a couple of drinks, and that's it. And that's not, listen, I understand. You want to do it, you want to be a YouTuber, you want to be on for a year or two, and then you go, all right, listen, I know a girl she's a surfer. Great surfer. She's a good-looking girl, she's very fit. She's a great, nice person, right? She studied, and she would surf. She never attained a level of greatness in surfing, but she's pretty damn good. She wins titles, right? But she goes to university. Now she's got a master's degree. And she's in like bioengineering or something like that. And she's like, I'll always surf, but I got a job. And she's only like, I don't know, 27 or something like that. She's got a whole life ahead of her. Now, why would she, she's Thai. Now, why would she come over here if she wasn't Thai and she had that background? She would come over here and, I'm going to move there. Unless she was getting a job. Why would she come here? It's just stupid. So, I've heard people say, only the dummies go to Thailand. Only the losers go to Thailand. That's not really true. Okay, there are plenty of people who come here and they work jobs. They've got good jobs. Or they're retired, right? But there are some people who that is true. They're idiots. They come over here and they think, their life is going to be different. And I could name names, but I don't want to name names. I'm not here to badmouth any one person. I'm just saying, as a whole, and I'm not saying that I'm all that much better, but I can tell you one thing, I'm not in a terrible position. I'm not in a position where I'm going, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to go back home now, and oh, my kids can't eat, and I'm not in that position. And I'm damn thankful of it. And I work hard to not be in that position. But when you're young and you're single and you think you got your whole life ahead of you, and you're just, every day you're going out, woo, let's go here, let's go there, let's do this. Every time you go somewhere, it costs you money. Every time I go out, it costs me at least 20 bucks, 30 bucks. It costs me maybe, between 500 and 1,000 baht just about everywhere I go. I mean, even coming here, what's this, 110, 35, 145, plus another 20, 165. So maybe it'll cost me $5. $5 just to come here. Just to sit here, have a drink, talk with y'all. So imagine what they're going through. Maybe they have 2 or 3 of them. They're friends. And now they all got to come up with $20, $25 just to get around, to go places, to have something to eat when they stop, to have something to drink when they stop. And then, then they've got to do something that's going to come off as content. I'm not talking about just talking about Thailand, because I could make all kinds of content that's just like everybody else's. You know what I mean? I could go to the Grand Palace. I could go, let's go to Kanchanaburi again. How many times I've been there? How many times I've been in Cambodia and filmed it? So I could do the same kind of content over and over and over and over again. And you know what it does? It floods YouTube with content from Thailand, and I'll see one guy. I got an apartment for $400. I got an apartment for $500. I got a luxury apartment for $300. I don't give a fuck how much your apartment is. I'll find my own apartment. I don't need you to help me find an apartment. Quite honestly, I don't need it. And I'd much rather live where I live, which is a townhouse that costs less than your apartment cost. Not only the losers, not at all, but so many are losers. What do the Thais call them? LBHs. That's why my buddy that lives in Chiang Mai say locals call them. Oh, losers back home. Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh, you won't get any girls. You're this, you're that. Oh my God. I hate to say it, and I'm not bragging, but Jesus Christ, I got more pussy back home than I ever had when I came here at first. I had so much when I was living back in the States. I mean, I had my dry spells, but Jesus Christ, I didn't have a problem. I always had women. Now, I know it's a different time now, but guess what? I've aged 30, 35 years from then. So when I came here, I already knew, but I'm telling you, coming here and learning about women is a much different experience than being back home and learning about women. You can learn some of the basics, but then when you come here, you better figure out how the game is played. Okay, did you have to pay him? Maybe he died. Who knows? Now, this next topic really, it kind of applies to me. And I admit it. It gets harder to move again. Once you move here, it gets harder to move. You don't want to move again. Listen, I got a whole freaking house full of stuff. Now, some of it is junk. Some of it is good stuff. Some of it is bad stuff. Between me and my wife and our kids, we have so much stuff. I can't just pack up like I did when I left America, where I had like 2 bags and a backpack. I had a duffel bag, a backpack, and a suitcase. That was it. I couldn't do that now. Now, if I go for a week somewhere, I can travel with 1 backpack. But if I was going for like permanently, oh my God, I'd have to ship stuff. I'd have to send it. I might have to get a container. Me and my wife would probably have to get a half a container or a container. You know, that's how it would work. Who says I have to close my mouth in the shower? What kind of idiotic statement is that? You think the water is that bad here? I brush my teeth with the water. I brush my teeth with it. I've lived here 30 years. I don't get sick from it. Well, you can have yard sales here. I don't. Yeah, you can sell it Craigslist. You can sell it on Facebook. You can sell it. They have all kinds. There's a bought and sold. You can do stuff like that. Hey, Daily G, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for signing up, and thank you for this $5. I appreciate it. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I cook with tap water, brush my teeth with it. Thank you very much. Obviously, you don't know a whole lot about Thailand. If you believe that. You know, that's another thing, is that there's so many fallacies about Thailand. And, you know, people just, that's what they believe. Anyway, all right, let's continue here, because I want to finish up. And that is that if you were here, it gets harder to move. And I would say that it is, you know, there's part of me that, man, I would love to go and move somewhere. But then there's another thing that, listen, I just want to bring my camera, you know, a couple cameras, you know, video camera, my phone, my laptop, my still camera, my clothes, and I just take that and go wherever I want to go, and I'll go there for 3 months or 6 months and live there part-time. That's it. That's great. For me, that's fine. I don't need to move everything. So that's not going to happen. And if you move to Thailand too early and you spend all your savings and you don't build a strong income stream, you could feasibly trap yourself here. And I've seen guys who came here in their 30s and now they're in their 50s, and they can't leave because they don't have any money or skills to go back home. You don't want to end up in that situation. I mean, listen, if I went back home, I have money coming in. I'm fine. I have my Social Security. I have some other money. So I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm okay. You're okay. And not everybody can say that. So now what I would say is, when I say I'm fine, it depends on what the cost of living where I would be moving would be, because maybe I wouldn't be fine. But I don't think I would ever move back to the United States. I've said the only time I'll go back to the United States and stay there, I only go to visit my parents and my sister. And that's it. If I'm going to go somewhere else, you know, my wife and I, we like Ecuador, we like Portugal. Maybe I'd take her to Mexico and she can check it out. She might like Mexico, I don't know. You know, Costa Rica. There's a lot of places you can go, but okay. You know, there's Italy, there's Malta, there's Sardinia, there's Croatia. There's a lot of places you can go. Now, what this means is I don't have to go somewhere and get a place and set up permanently and then come back here and then after 6 months go back to the other place again, which is, I want to say, you know, Dowlo is a perfect example of what I think is a good way to do things here, which you see, he comes over here for 2-3 months, he goes back to Australia, and then, you know, when he gets tired of being there, he comes back to Thailand, then he goes back and forth, back and forth. Now he has permanent residence over there, as I do in the United States. Well, I don't really have a permanent residence. It's my parents' house. But I could go there and stay there for a month or two. Now, over that would be a little bit, I wouldn't want to stay longer than that because I'd probably get on their nerves and they'd probably get on mine. But, you know, that's the way it goes. We have a guy who drives down the shore and speaks with a loudspeaker looking to buy scrap. I saw him. Yeah, we have the same kind of thing. And, you know, I sold all kinds of stuff. I sold some weights. I've sold all kinds of metal stuff that I've had. And, you don't make them a lot, but you make a little bit. Portugal's nice. I am Portuguese. Oh. Nice to meet you in Portugal. Costa Rica is not cheap unless you live rural. I know about Costa Rica, and I know that the prices have gone way up. They've gone up and up and up, you know. You can't move to Asia in your 30s or 40s or even before 59 and a half unless you got some income coming in. Well, that's kind of how it is. It doesn't matter what age you are. You need income. And if you are older, if you're old enough to, say, retire legally, and I mean legally, like you can collect a pension. You've been working somewhere for 20 years or 25 years. You can collect a pension. You can collect your Social Security. You can collect something like that. Then it becomes very easy, and it's not difficult at all. If you live here, you do. Well, you should have taken her like Ensenada or somewhere like that. Very easy to get to. I've been all over Mexico. I like Mexico, but yeah, I mean, Tijuana's been a shithole for as long as I remember. You know, I've been to Tijuana. I've been to Juarez. Oh my God. You don't necessarily have to surround yourself with high earners, but you have to surround yourself with people who they're self-sufficient. There's that word again. You don't want people, you don't want to live around a bunch of people going, "Oh, Jim, can I have a beer? Can you buy me a beer?" I mean, all the time? No. It would drive me nuts. Listen, anytime I go down to the South, nobody ever asks me for any money. If anybody asks me for money, it's my wife. She'll go, "Listen, I need a little small money. You got 100 baht? You got 200 baht? I got to go over there and buy a bunch of stuff for the kids." All right, here you go. No problem. But I never get, "Oh, I need a beer. I need this. I need that." It's just stupid. If you surround yourself by a bunch of takers, people who always want something from you, then you're always the giver. I mean, I don't think of myself as a taker or a giver, but I know that sometimes I take and sometimes I give. Chiang what? Chiang Mai? Chiang Rai? What are you talking about? Chiang Dao? Chiang Mai. Well, I don't know. You say single man. If you want to live on your own, it's fine. Other than the burning season. If you're going there and you think, okay, I'm going to hook up with a girl, that's a different story. It can be done, but if you don't know anything about Thailand, it'd be hard. Or you have to find one that wants to teach you, and it can be done, but I think it's just difficult. It'd be difficult. Anyway, let me keep going here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you don't want to end up in that situation. Okay, so if you're going to move here, you always have to have the plan of, okay, how are you going to move somewhere else? How are you going to move back? How are you going to move somewhere else? And so then that leaves the question, who should move to Thailand before you're 40? And I'm not saying that nobody under 40 should move here. If you have a solid remote job, a successful online business, or some kind of a clear financial plan, that's a different story. Thailand can be a fantastic place. But if you're looking for an escape or hoping things will magically work out when you arrive, you might be in for a rude awakening. I mean, that's all I can say. It's that simple. Find a job and come here and work a job. You know. I mean, really. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice place, but I would say the burning season, that's a turnoff for me, but you can go somewhere else. And there are a lot of Farang there, and there is an expat community. I remember, I went and had a coffee. What was it that I went to go see there? I went to some place that had a gym, and they had the gym, and the gym was huge. But then next to the gym, they had a little coffee shop, and it was like they had a coffee shop, they had like a burger joint, and they were all like in, what do you call them? Containers. They were made from containers. And I went there, I thought, wow, this place is fantastic. It was great, but it was definitely, you're dealing with all foreigners. And quite honestly, I mean, seriously, I did not come to Thailand to live with foreigners. I'm not that kind of a person. I don't have to have a big community around me to feel like I'm whole. I don't need that. Burning season is when the farmers burn their land and try to raise the ground, and it causes a lot of pollution. The pollution is very bad for 2-3 months out of the year. But yeah, I've never felt that, I've got to get involved in the scene. I'm not involved in the scene here. I mean, am I part of it? Yeah, I guess. But it's not like I'm doing it willingly, like, I'm gonna go. I'm not one of these guys who goes and says, okay, I'm gonna meet all the boys down at the bar at 5 o'clock every Wednesday. And every Wednesday for the last 3 years, I've done that. I just don't do it. I don't want to. Why? I'd rather be home with my wife. I mean, I'll be honest. I'd rather be home with my wife, who's not saying much, who, maybe is laying there watching TV with me. And do I want to be around the boys sometimes? All right, sometimes I do. I go and I have my time with, I go see Jonna, I go see Billy, I go see, a couple people, and I hang out with them for 2-3 hours, 4 hours, and then it's like, okay, time to go home. But I don't feel like, I'm not one of these guys who's like in Pattaya, I feel like I got to go to the bar, or in Chiang Mai where I got to meet up with people and we all got to hang out together every week. It's just not me. Now, you can do that, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or anything like that. I understand. But you got to want that. And why are you moving to a foreign country to be with your own people? I don't understand it. Communities, blah, blah, blah. Businesses. Do not mention that town north of Thailand. I have a video about pie coming up, okay? So that's on, I think it's on Saturday. Something like that. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why I made that video. And you may be surprised, but yeah, there is a reason why, and there was something that I wanted to talk about that happened with the government, and so yeah, be prepared. That'll be Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. And today is what, Tuesday? Yeah. Today's Tuesday all day long. Now, what do you guys think? Is moving to Thailand before 40 a mistake? Or does it just depend on the person? I would say probably 80% of the people, they don't need to come here. I mean, no offense. And I know I came here and I was under 40. But again, this is not 1995. This is 2025. Things are different now. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like the video, you like the stream, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. So, I think that about does it. That's about all for the day. Which other Asian countries have you been to? I've been to all of them, man. I've been to all of them like many times over. I've been to Vietnam now about 5 times. I've been to Cambodia like 55 times. I've been to Myanmar like 20. I've been to Malaysia, I don't know, maybe 3. I've been to Indonesia about 10. I've been to Singapore about 10. I've been to Laos about 5. Yeah. Well, you should give it a visit. Even though I don't really particularly enjoy the place all that much. And the reason that I don't enjoy it is not necessarily the Thais, although I don't particularly like being asked, oh, where you come from, where you come from, what you do, I don't care about all that. I don't like it, but to me it's because you're surrounded by a bunch of tourists. I don't want to be around a bunch of tourists. And you know, that's just the way that I've always been. I didn't just turn into some guy who doesn't want to be around tourists. I don't want to be around tourists. Why? I don't view myself as a tourist anymore. You know. Anyway. Yes, I can speak Thai, I can read Thai, I can write a little bit of Thai, and as far as my favorites, I'd probably say Vietnam and Cambodia, and maybe Indonesia. And I like Myanmar too, but, you know. Anyway. Alrighty. Well, I guess that's about it for right now. My final piece of advice is, if you're under 40, wait until you get over 40. Save your money. Listen, the one thing that I wish is I had more money than when I came here. I wish I had a lot more money. I wish I had worked for another 5 years. And at 5 years, I would have been like 37, 38, 36, 37. And if I had come over here and I had $150,000, $200,000 stashed, I could have done all kinds of things. But I've kind of went through it the hard way. And, you know, now I'm just relaxing. I don't have to do a lot of things. I'm in that mode right now that I was telling you guys about, which is, you know, you don't have to always be doing anything. You can have a comfort, a level of comfort in your life. For me, I want that level of comfort because I'm not quite as agile. I'm not as young. I just feel like I don't want to do as much. I don't even really want to travel, to be honest. So, under 40, save money. Yes, there you go. These streams go by so fast. Well, we got about another 6 minutes, I guess, at the most. That puts it in an hour and 45 minutes. I used to say it's an hour and 30. Boom. I don't want it to be any longer. Now I go an hour and 30, but if you got 15 minutes, you know. Well, you say without retirement money and 20,000 emergency reserve. I would say make that 25,000. Yeah, there you go. You know, that's the other thing. What happens if you, I know a lot of people, they love their jobs. And so for them, working is not something they hate to do. And I'll be honest, sometimes, listen, I don't always like streaming. And I don't always like doing videos. But there are a lot of times when I go, you know what, this might be fun. I'm going to do it. And that's why I keep doing it, because I still enjoy it a little bit. You know. Anyway. Yeah, well, we can continue with all these cliches, but the bottom line is you better have money, and you better have plenty of it. And if you think you need 100,000, you might want to think again. You might need 200,000. You know, I mean, it's basic math. When I did the whole 200,000 and you're 60 years old, I meant no pension. You know, if you figure it out, well, 20,000 a year for 10 years is $200,000. Right? Well, $10,000 a year for 20 years. But that's not very much money. Wait, people love their jobs where in America? Polls are done on a lot. And under 20% of the people in the U.S. Listen, I know people that like their jobs. At least they tell me they like their jobs. I know some people that love their jobs, and I know some people that are working online and they hate their jobs. I know people in customer service, they hate their jobs. But they do it because every bit they earn gets them closer to, I don't know what the name of that movie was, but it was with, I think, Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. He was like a cab driver, and he had this picture in his visor. He flipped the visor down, and he would see this beautiful beach or whatever it was. And he would see it, and he would go, I know my magic number. And so, you know, you have to think about that. How far is it to your magic number? I already know what my magic number is, and I'm almost there. Hopefully, I'll get there before I die. Anyway. A little side income. Well, I hope you like teaching English. That's not for me. Collateral, yes, you're right. The key is living in fear of having nothing. Therefore, you work. I don't have that fear. I don't have that fear at all. I'm constantly telling my wife, clean this house up. Get rid of some of this junk we have. Please, get rid of it. Please get rid of it. You know. $2,500. That way you have money to save, and if you're smart, you have plenty of money to live. You have no worries. Yeah, exactly. How long is a piece of string? You can get by in 2,000, and you could probably be comfortable. I mean, even 1,500. But then you start thinking about, oh, I shouldn't spend it on this. I shouldn't do that. That's why 2,500 gives you you have plenty of money to screw around with. And to be honest, in 2,500 you could live a lot of places in the United States, you know, for that much. So, alrighty then. How long is a piece of string? If somebody has the answer, please let me know. Anyway, that's all I have. So, until next time, which I think is Friday. I'm Scott. I am an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerken mai. You're not going to see me in Pai. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. I can't answer all these questions. I can't. I won't. That's Chok di leo jerken mai. Good luck and see you again. All right. Thank you very much.